ladies and gentlemen, what an exciting 2 days we've had. I hope you've all learned as much as I have. It's been a terrific journey. We've met so many fascinating people. And I think the partnerships that we will have built over the course of these last 2 days should really be enduring. And we should take what we've learnt in these last 2 days into the future, finding new opportunities, meeting new people, and really working towards inclusive development through trade for LDCs. I'm delighted to welcome you to our closing ceremony for today, and I'm delighted to hand over to our moderator, Daniel Blockert, who is the chair of the EIF Steering Committee and the ambassador from the permanent mission of Sweden. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, and welcome everyone to the closing session. It's good to see that so many of you are still here, and I can just agree with our MC that it's been an exciting 2 days. There's a lot of passion and positive energy. I've been to many of the discussions, and I've heard a lot of interesting ideas. I've heard visions for the future. I've heard some concerns as well, and areas where we need to do better. But all in all, I think it's been a fascinating 2 days, and we are going to come back to that a little bit too. The purpose of this closing ceremony is really twofold. The first is to celebrate the call of action, which was led by the Vice President of the Gambia, Minister of Commerce and Industry from the Central African Republic, the Minister for Industry, Trade and Tourism for Malawi, and the Minister of State for Trade for Uganda. And secondly, the second focus is the post-forum agenda in terms of what's next, what are the priorities, and where do we go from here. And I'm very pleased that I'm joined by a distinguished panel, and we will have a brief session, but I hope it will be interesting for all of you. We have Her Excellency Ms. Fanta Cissé, who is the Secretary of State of the Ministry of Commerce from Guinea. We have Ambassador Laourou, who is the ambassador for Benin for the UN and the WTO, and also the chair of the EIF board. And we have Ratnakar Adhikari, who is the executive director of the EIF Secretariat. So I'd like to start off by posing the question to Ms. Fanta Cissé, the Secretary of State. As an LDC leader, a champion of the EIF, you've been here now for these 2 days, and what do you see as the forum's main outcomes? You have the floor.
Merci, monsieur le modérateur. Merci à tous. Bonjour. J'ai préparé un petit texte afin de n'oublier rien, de ne rien oublier par rapport à ce que je vais dire, qui est assez important suite à ces 2 jours de discussion sur le commerce inclusif pour les PMA. Donc, si vous me permettez, je vais aller faire ma présentation. Monsieur le modérateur, Excellence, Monsieur l'ambassadeur du Bénin, Monsieur le directeur du cadre intégré renforcé, Mesdames et Messieurs, prenant la parole pour la première fois, je voudrais tout d'abord remercier très sincèrement le directeur exécutif du cadre intégré renforcé et ses collaborateurs pour l'organisation parfaite de la présente rencontre et pour m'avoir invité à y participer. Mon ministre, son Excellence, M. Boubacar Bari, aurait bien aimé être présent à cette séance et à la séance d'hier, mais pour des raisons nationales, de dernière minute, il n'a pas pu faire le déplacement. Il m'a chargé de vous transmettre toutes ses salutations et tout son soutien. Monsieur le modérateur, Mesdames et Messieurs, durant ces 2 jours de débat qui a duré, de débat sur ce forum, nous avons entendu beaucoup de déclarations sur les énormes efforts que fournissent les PMA pour améliorer la participation aux échanges mondiaux et les échanges commerciaux mondiaux et quitter le statut des PMA pour les pays à revenus intermédiaires. Les expériences pratiques de certains PMA en la matière ont été présentées. Nous avons été aussi témoins de la volonté manifeste exprimée de certains pays, de la communauté internationale, de placer les PMA, surtout leur participation au commerce mondial, à l'endroit qu'il faut dans les politiques d'aide au développement de ces pays. En cela, il faut le dire, j'ai beaucoup aimé la déclaration qu'a faite l'ambassadeur de la Grande-Bretagne à Genève, dont le pays est l'un des principaux donateurs au financement des activités du projet du cadre intégré renforcé, qui a parlé des démarches à mener pour aider réellement les PMA à travers ce projet à développer et diversifier les activités commerciales. Il serait souhaitable que cette initiative soit soutenue par tous les partenaires des PMA, car nous devons savoir que la participation des PMA aux échanges internationaux apparaît à la fois comme l'un des objectifs communs et comme la raison logique d'être à toutes les activités de coopération technique de ces dernières avec ces PMA. L'instabilité de l'économie mondiale a été aussi évoquée. Nous devons faire en sorte que les progrès globaux enregistrés par les pays développés économiquement, qui ont laissé pour compte les PMA, qui luttent pour venir à bout de la pauvreté, soient revus et permettent aux PMA d'avoir des capacités de production requises pour sortir de la trappe à pauvreté qui s'illustre par la combinaison de la faiblesse des revenus, la faiblesse des investissements et la faiblesse de la croissance. Nous avons entendu également des présentations faites sur les stratégies en vue de permettre aux TPE, aux femmes et aux jeunes à mieux participer au commerce. La facilitation des échanges a également été abordée et le souhait a été fait qu'elle soit inclusive. Les avantages de cet accord, notamment au niveau des postes frontaliers, juxtaposés entre pays de l'Afrique centrale, ont été aussi présentés par des praticiens de terrain. Les expériences des dragons du commerce en Asie ont été présentées par le Bhoutan, le Malawi et le Samoa. L'usage du commerce équitable par ces acteurs a été évoqué comme l'une des mesures pouvant contribuer à l'expansion du commerce des PMA. Il est très important que l'Afrique se remobilise en vue d'accroître la part du commerce intra-africain et ensuite augmenter sa participation dans les échanges commerciaux mondiaux. Il est également et généralement admis que seuls les produits ayant réussi au test du marché intérieur peuvent également réussir à pénétrer sur le marché international. Nous tendons la main à nos frères, à tous nos frères africains, ainsi que ceux de la ZLEC, pour que la ZLEC puisse servir de tremplin pour les économies africaines et transformer les structures de celles-ci. Mesdames et messieurs, étant moi-même une ancienne collaboratrice à l'OMC, je suis maintenant sur le terrain dans mon pays. Et c'est avec beaucoup de plaisir que je vois les résultats des activités du cadre intégré renforcé et l'impact de ces programmes de soutien des donateurs sur le niveau de vie des populations et l'appropriation du cadre intégré dans nos pays. La Guinée, mon pays, croit réellement en un système commercial multilatéral plus juste, transparent et équitable, ainsi inclusif, qui prend en compte des intérêts de tous les membres sans exception. C'est pourquoi elle soutient fermement l'initiative prise par le Secretariat exécutif du CIR visant un appel dynamique en faveur du Forum mondial sur le commerce inclusif pour les PMA. Ce soutien tire son essence de la thèse selon laquelle la lutte contre la pauvreté dans les PMA est une préoccupation mondiale reconnue par les ODD comme étant un engagement à développer des capacités pour une participation effective de tous à la prospérité économique mondiale. La Guinée a été un pays école dans le cadre de la mise en œuvre du cadre intégré renforcé. Elle s'en est appropriée et compte renforcer sa position dans ce projet en lui fournissant un appui inconditionnel pour mener des activités dans des meilleures conditions. Elle souhaite continuer de profiter de ces occasions pour plaider en faveur d'un système commercial plus juste et inclusif. Dans ce sens, elle est également disposée à partager ses expériences avec les autres pays. Le gouvernement guinéen garde l'espoir que la Guinée travaillera dans le sens de répondre aux critères des pays qui seront reclassés à l'horizon 2020, ainsi que le pays quitte la catégorie des PMA pour la catégorie des pays à revenus intermédiaires. Cependant, cela ne peut se réaliser sans le soutien des partenaires internationaux. J'en appelle donc aux donateurs à continuer à aider les PMA dans leurs efforts nationaux de lutte contre la pauvreté. Je voudrais, pour ma part, remercier tous les intervenants pour la qualité de leur présentation et pour la pertinence des questions abordées. Et également, je voudrais dire un grand merci au secrétariat exécutif du cadre intégré renforcé et à son personnel qui, par cette rencontre, a placé les PMA au devant de la scène internationale en vue d'attirer encore une fois l'attention des partenaires sur leur situation. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Secretary, for that excellent summary of what we've been discussing. Now, in the interest of time, I will move on to our next speaker, Ambassador Laourou. In your capacity as the chair of the EIF board going forward, how do you see the EIF partnership can continue to champion an inclusive trade agenda, and what advice would you give to governments? Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you, really, Ambassador Blockert. Je voudrais remercier les organisateurs de cette rencontre qui est une initiative à saluer parce qu'elle nous permet de mettre ensemble les réflexions et de nous projeter vers l'avenir proche et lointain pour travailler en vue de renforcer les capacités de production et d'exportation des PMA. Et pour répondre à la question posée par le modérateur, l'ambassadeur Blockert, je voudrais dire que depuis que j'ai pris la présidence du Conseil, du programme du cadre intégré renforcé, j'ai pu noter qu'il y a de la disponibilité, de l'engagement à la fois du côté des bénéficiaires, des donateurs et des agences dans un partenariat multi-acteurs. Et j'ai pu voir dans les échanges que nous menons ici à Genève ou lorsque nous nous déplaçons sur le terrain pour les sessions du Conseil du cadre intégré renforcé qu'il y a des résultats sur le terrain. Et cela améliore les conditions de travail et de production des communautés. Et il y a également une diversité de secteurs et d'interventions, depuis l'agriculture jusqu'à la propriété intellectuelle et en passant par l'élevage, le tourisme, l'artisanat, les petites et moyennes entreprises. Et aujourd'hui, comme nous sommes dans l'environnement de l'économie numérique et du commerce électronique, c'est aussi des opportunités à saisir pour lever les contraintes et renforcer les capacités productives et d'exploitation des pays les moins avancés. Je voudrais dire que nous devrons continuer ce partenariat, cette marche, pour que les contraintes soient levées et que les pays les moins avancés puissent intégrer réellement le commerce international et que leurs activités de production et d'échange leur permettent d'avoir des revenus substantiels pour régler les besoins au quotidien. Et les projets qui sont soumis également viennent des besoins exprimés par les pays concernés et les régions. Nous devrons travailler dans cette compréhension et entretenir la flamme qui est allumée. Donc, le programme du cadre intégré renforcé est un instrument important, je dirais très important, et nous allons continuer à faire les interactions avec les partenaires, les donateurs et les agences pour avancer. Et je ne terminerai pas sans souligner la question de la durabilité. Donc, comme nous sommes dans un partenariat, nous aurons besoin de l'accompagnement technique et financier des donateurs et de l'expertise des agences, mais il est également important qu'au niveau national, l'effort qui a commencé de mise à contribution des ressources nationales budgétisées pour soutenir les activités, que cet effort se poursuive. Voilà, Monsieur le Président, Monsieur le Modérateur, mes premiers commentaires et les perspectives que j'ai voulu tracer.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for, I think, very helpful. Yes. Very pertinent words for us to keep in mind in our future work. Last in the panel, we have our Executive Director, Ratnakar. Two questions really to you. We've been energized by the call to action, but I'm not sure that everyone has had a chance to read it and digest it, so it would be interesting if you could give us perhaps some highlights on why the call was important. And also, of course, based on what we've heard on these 2 days, during these 2 days, where do you see the main pathways forward after this? Director, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ambassador, for providing me this opportunity. I would like to begin by thanking everybody for your support and cooperation, and start first of all by highlighting the call to action that was signed, that was owned and signed by a number of LDCs, led by none other than the Vice President of the Gambia, and the commitment that she has made to devote the time in her office to support the call for providing necessary support to LDCs and in terms of strengthening their trade capacity, building their trade and development. And this has also been signed jointly by the Minister of Central African Republic. I want to recognize the Minister's presence as well. By the Trade Minister of Malawi, and by the Minister of State for Trade of Uganda. So there are three key elements in the call to action, which I had mentioned briefly yesterday during reception. I just want to repeat them for the benefit of those who were not there yesterday. So the first element is that this call to action recommits all the LDCs to the global development agenda, including sustainable development goals, Agenda 2030, so to say, and the Istanbul Programme of Action. It also recommits to the multilateral trading system. The LDCs have put their weight behind the multilateral trading system, and this is a major achievement that we see, and this is also reflected in the call to action. Second one, the LDCs are making a commitment on several areas. In the area of policy stability, by providing necessary political will and political commitment to sustain reform, to address supply-side constraints, to address issues relating to investment so that they are able to attract more private investment, to address issues relating to technology so that they can make use of technology in order to facilitate their trade and development objectives. That's the second bit. The third bit is that LDCs are going to do their bit in terms of providing necessary capital at the country level, but they would like support from the international community. They do acknowledge the fact that they have received support from the international community, but given the fact that they are ready to do their bit, they would like more support, additional support from the international community. This is the essence of the call to action, and I'm really happy to announce that this was also announced this afternoon during the press conference, and it was well received by the press as well. Now, talking about the pathways, Ambassador, the second part of your question, I would just like to focus on five issues. One is the issue of graduation. The session that I just attended, before coming here, there, we heard several things, but the conclusion of that session is that challenges are enormous, and some kind of preparatory process, including advanced planning, could help LDCs to achieve sustainable graduation. And this is the target that LDCs are going to have. This is where EIF can help to sustain, to sustain graduation with momentum. In the areas of trade, in the areas of investment, in the areas of quality standard, in the area of trade facilitation, on sectoral support, we discussed about agriculture extensively, but agriculture is definitely one sector where LDC has a major stake, but there are sectors such as manufacturing and services that are also important. And to facilitate export diversification so that they are able to avoid the economic vulnerability, which is a key component of the graduation discussion and debate. The second point that I would like to mention as a pathway, Ambassador, is the role of the private sector. This has come out very clearly in many discussions that the private sector's role is key to unlocking trade potential. Therefore, it is important, and I take it as a call to action for EIF and EIF partners to do more work on investment facilitation, investment promotion, and engaging private sector more in the projects that can normally not be financed through the government treasury or through the ODA type of instrument or aid for trade support. So that is the second takeaway, I would say, and then this I consider as a pathway. The third one that came out very strongly, Ambassador, is the role of technology. Role of technology in enhancing competitiveness of the LDCs who have to compete now more fiercely in the international market, as well as to help them to move up the value chain ladder. We discussed about digital economy, we discussed about e-commerce, and we discussed about other technology not necessarily related to the digital part of the technology. These can be, indigenous technology, for example, agriculture technology in East Africa. There's a tremendous potential on this sector, so that is something that I would like to emphasize as well. The fourth point, while recommitting to the multilateral, to the issue of multilateralism, there was also a feeling that LDCs can equally benefit from regional integration. The session on regional integration discussed a number of issues there, but I just want to highlight a few issues. It is not only a matter of trade integration, it is a matter of investment integration. So better economic integration will be facilitated when you have trade, investment, technology, all these elements working together in order to promote LDC's trade in the context of regional integration. It is about promoting regional value chain. It is about integrating LDCs into the global value chain. For this, the element of trade, investment, and technology will have to come together, but then there are areas where regional cooperation can help, are areas such as trade facilitation, harmonization of standard, and mutual recognition of a standard. And this is something that would probably guide our work in the future, although we have already done considerable amount of work in these issues. Finally, making trade inclusive. When we are talking about making trade inclusive, we are mostly talking about women, youth, and micro, small, and medium enterprises. These are very, very important component of facilitating inclusive trade. But the discussion that I heard, and I was participating in some of the discussion where the fact that inclusive trade, the whole agenda of inclusive trade should not be operating in a vacuum came out very clearly. There is a considerable role for the policy, for policy reform, for policy adjustment, tinkering with policy that is necessary in order to facilitate overall inclusive development going beyond inclusive trade. So there, the issue of human capital, the skill development, that came out very strongly, and this is a pathway that we would like to pursue. The issue of infrastructure, that came out very clearly, and in terms of institutions and policies, issues such as redistribution policy, technology policy, environmental policy, gender policy, youth employment policy, and competition policy. These are the various policy measures that could then supplement the reform that have been undertaken by LDCs in order to make sure that they achieve inclusive development rather than just focusing on inclusive trade. So these were the brief highlight, Excellency. I just wanted to share this with the audience as well as with the high-level delegates. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for making this event a success. All the high-level dignitaries, all the participants, all the resource persons, our donor who have supported this initiative, our agency partner, and I would like to thank my team. My team must be sitting, in one cluster, I guess, right? So my team and the team WTO for providing necessary support. And finally, I would like to recognize the support provided by the WTO Director General's office and the Director General himself, as well as the guidance and support provided here by yourself, Ambassador Blockert and Ambassador Laourou. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Executive Director. I saw you thanked your team, and there was one person waving. I know that the team is small, but come on. Let's see some waving from the Secretariat. Yes, yes. Thank you. Sweden, my country, is one of EIF's long-term donors, and Her Excellency Ms. Linde, who is our Minister of EU Affairs and Trade, could unfortunately not be here because of previous engagement in Stockholm, but she has recorded a short video message, which I believe we're going to see now.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the global forum of the important issue of the integration of the least developed countries into the multilateral trading system. The Swedish government is firmly committed to free and fair trade and a strong supporter of the multilateral trading system. It is vitally important that the least developed countries also have access to the WTO and the World Trading System. EIF is an important strategic and long-term partner to Sweden. We hosted the first EIF pledging conference 10 years ago and remain highly engaged in the work of EIF. Last year, we committed the support to EIF's second phase with $11.5 million. There are many successful results on national levels in LDCs as a result of the EIF program, unlocking opportunities for trade. I encourage you to translate these successes into a narrative that underpins the vital role of EIF and trade as a means to reach the Sustainable Development Goals. EIF remains one of the most important actors to support the integration of LDCs in global trade, and Sweden looks forward to continuing to be an active partner of EIF.
Yes, and as you could see from that video, Sweden might be one of the largest donors of development aid in the world, but apparently the ministry can't buy a decent teleprompter. But I think that the message went through anyway. Before we leave this forum, I want to conclude with a few words. It's apparent that we've heard a lot of good news, we heard a lot of exciting stories, we heard a lot of success stories, but there's always homework to do. And those of us at the EIF is certainly standing by to do our part in continuing assisting the LDCs to increase their ability and capacity to trade. And we are eager to provide whatever support we can to support the forward movement. working together, I'm sure that we can do this. We can continue to build upon what we've already have done, and I think that we even, if I dare say it, that there are room to improve even further. Before we close the forum, I want you to join me in thanking the panel for the last session. And I will only say a few words before I leave the floor to our MC. There are some people who we need to thank, of course. We want to thank our partners within the government of the LDC partners, including Ministries of Trade and Commerce, and our appreciation goes out to all the high-level participants. It's really been an impressive turnout from the LDCs here, and also from the partner agencies and other partners. Special thanks goes to the partner agencies, the IF Trust Fund Manager, the IF Trust Fund donors, and additional forum sponsors, which include International Islamic Trade Finance Corporation, the German Development Corporation, and the Trade Facilitation Agreement Facility. We also want to thank the WTO that has served as a host for the forum and is the institutional home, of course, for the EIF and the Executive Secretariat. And very grateful to all the talented individuals who have served as rapporteurs and social media reporters during the forum. I know that it has trended in social media, which is nowadays the only measure of success. So that's important. And also, of course, deep appreciation for all the speakers and participants who have traveled from around the world to be with us and share their experiences and their expertise. And of course, Sarah, our MC, who have tried to keep us in line here and energize us. And of course, a very big thank you that we already mentioned to the EIF Executive Secretariat. I will leave the floor to Sarah to call this to an end. Before that, I just want to remind you that we actually have a formal meeting left after this. We will start immediately after this session is closed with the EIF Steering Committee meeting. And the Steering Committee is open to the EIF partners, the LDCs, the partner agencies, and the EIF donors. And we also invite the national implementation units, the representatives from them, to stay on. And I want to urge you to make sure that we can do the transition to the Steering Committee meeting as quickly as possible, so we will have time to conclude in time. Now, over to you.
Thank you. Well, what a productive couple of days we've had. It's been a thrill to be here, and I think we've all just learnt an immense amount. We can see that there is real commitment. The call to action is testament to this. LDCs are committed to owning and implementing a trade agenda that is conducive to supporting small business and enabling women and youth. And yesterday we said we wanted our voices to be heard outside of the hallowed walls of the World Trade Organization. Well, we were heard. Over 1,000 tweets reached 1.9 million users and created 7.5 million impressions. Does that mean that almost everybody in Switzerland heard about us? Maybe. We have seen that LDC support a strong and inclusive rules-based multilateral trading system. The enhanced integrated framework is here to support you on this journey. I want to add my thanks to those of the ambassador and to everyone else here. It's been a total pleasure to meet with you and to be your MC for these last 2 days. I wish you all safe onward journeys, wherever that may be in the world. As you leave the building, pass by the social media corner if you haven't had an opportunity, and post your picture. They'll appreciate me for that plug. Thank you all very much, and good evening.